Okay, so let me play this and show what this is. This is pizzas. So like a um, well, not surprisingly not that much. But we got 5 rows, and I can't count how many columns. 10 columns, maybe. Yeah. And as they hit the left side or right side, then they move down. This is obviously going too fast. But if I use my arrow keys, if I move it when it collides with it, it destroys those objects. In your case, your ship will be down here. It'll be moving back and forth, and you'll press your fire. And when your bullet collides with it, then that pizza should disappear. So that's the idea there. What I did is I brought in an image. So I brought an image, I dropped it up here, and then I dropped it back to make it a prefab. Remember the prefabs we looked at? So we're building upon that. And then over here, you see I got my prefab here. And I deleted it off the screen here. Now I also have my Patrick's left arm that I was using for just an object because that's what I had on my computer at home. And then there's some code here. Now over here, there's a game object. And you see the game object. It's basically an empty one. I have a box collider on it by default. Like if I right click over here, maybe if I just click the create and I create an empty. You see how it's called a game object 1 here? No, it doesn't have a collider on to begin with. Okay, I'll delete that. But I created an empty basically. And then on that, I have a script, instantiation script, and I put a box collider too. I think that box collider was for the for all the pizzas. I needed a collider now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, now let's look at the script. So after you add this, you add a script, you add your box collider. Within the script, you're saying you bet it's a lot of code. It's a 1 for loop there, and then some code here, and code down here. So not very much really. I declared public game object G, and then this I declared an array of game objects. That because we can have a number of pizzas. And then the direction, what the direction is used down below, but that's used to, if it's +1, it's going to the right. If you multiply by -1, it's going to the left. That's what causes it to flip back and forth direction-wise. And you see I'm going from 0 to less than 5, so it goes 0 to 4, so there's 5 there. That's your 5 rows. Here I'm going from 0 to 9. That's your 10 columns. So if I want more rows or more columns, if I come here, if I put 15 there, that would increase it. And then you simply do an instantiate. And then you do G for your game object. And then new vector 3. This tells the location. Now location Not the table. The door's locked.
It might be.
I was going to do that quite a bit.
What were you doing all night last night then?
Watching TV shows.
Did you get a haircut? Did you get a haircut?
Yeah, a while ago.
Now, not everything's self-contained in this script. For example, the vector 3 xy, that xy comes from our looping here. This transform rotation is just always transform rotation for purposes of this project. And then g comes from this right here. Now, if we go to our game object here, you see G over here? That says sphere. That's curious. You see how it's uppercase G here, but I have it as lowercase g. They are the same variable. For whatever reason, it capitalizes the first letter over here. You see how direction is capital D, but direction over here is lowercase d. By making these public here, they automatically appear over here. So if you want a different object, like I have this as sphere, if I want a different object here, then I could just drag it and drop it. Now it does have to be a prefab. It's like if I did a sorry, I was just thinking about last time I thought I'd just make a change and then all of a sudden it broke the code. It's like, do you want to do that? But if I dropped Mario on here and dragged Mario up here and dragged Mario back, then Mario's now a prefab. And I can delete Mario off here. Now for our empty game object, let me check my settings here. Has a box collider. This one doesn't have a box collider. I would need it for my collision. So if I add box collider 2D, now if I drag Mario into my game object, so got that there. It now says sphere. I'll drop Mario up here. Now if I run that, let's see if I broke it. I did break it. I must have sphere somewhere else. Because they're no longer moving, are they? Let me drop sphere back. Curious. We'll look at the code and see why I broke it. But that's how you change it to a different prefab.
Maybe because it's set to the sphere in general, not Mario.
Oh, here it is. It's because I give it a tag. Because up here, we just generically create all these instances of the pizza or alien or whatever. How do you refer to it then? Well, when we run this, let's try it again. When I run it, you see over here, it creates a bunch of clones of our sphere. These all have the same name, don't they? So it's just like, how in the world do you refer to it then? You know, as I click these, you see it automatically selects a different one each time, doesn't it? And that's why you have to use the tags. You notice on the game object here, we got our sphere specified here. But if I click sphere here, see how it's got a tag that says alien? Probably if I come to Mario and I change the tag to also say alien, assuming that doesn't get it confused. Now I can probably drop Mario in here and he'll actually move. Let's see if that's a true statement. See them moving. Okay, I'm gonna put it back. Sphere. A lot of different which I'm recording this, so you can always refer back to it and see. But you see, there's a lot of different pieces that have to come into play. We create our prefab. That's the easy part. Then you come down here. You have to give it a tag because you need to know how to refer to it in your code. And then you have to go over to your game object, your empty game object, and drop your prefab into G, what I have named right here. Okay. So any questions on how to create the? Now I get down here, and this is the update. This is running once per each CPU cycle, game cycle. I declare vector 3 the position.
Do you have to put the coding onto the prefab?
No. No, all this code here is based entirely on the empty game object. But what makes a connection is for our empty game object. See how it's got this parameter here called G? This is where the prefab goes. Probably G would be better if I named it something like name of prefab. I'm not worried about breaking it. I got it zipped up. So if I screw it up today, then I can save that. Then I can go back to my backup. Now, I thought saving it would automatically update it. Let me click the attach to Unity.
You still have it saved on your.
Builders.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, because this is a G here. And I need that to be name of prefab. Attach to Unity. Okay, detach that. See how that now says name of prefab? Now by doing that, I screwed it up. You see how there's none in here now? But that's easy. I can drop my pizza back in there. Like that. Now that'll be a little bit more user-friendly. You know, you'll know what it is. Instead of G, it'll say name of prefab. Let's run it just to make sure it still works. Okay. This is where having good names is probably quite important instead of G. I figured this out on Friday or Saturday. I don't remember when. And I was kind of tired when I figured it out, so I didn't go back and fix some things. Like I don't think X is ever used here. By the way, vector 3 is our position. Boolean I said is, or I have it a Boolean go back. I say go back is equal to false. We'll talk more about that. Now here I'm loading in an array of prefabs, an array of objects. And it's looking it up based upon the tag. So this name right here has to match the tag you give. So if I come over here to the pizza, and I'm clicking the prefab down here, you see how it has a tag of alien? Now, that wasn't there by default. I clicked this drop down here, and I clicked add tag. This is where you give it a new name. Like Mario here, I could do this drop down, I could choose add tag, and I click the plus here, and I could call it Mario, and then click save. And now, don't remember how I went back, but at least if I click over here, now for my tag here, I can do the drop down, and you see we got Mario. So if I wanted to change it to Mario, I just simply have to write Mario here. Now here I'm looping through. I got an index for x equals 0. I'm continuing for the length of the array of prefabs. So if I got 50 prefabs, 50 pizzas in my array, it's going to loop through it from 0 to 49. Increasing it by 1. Now here I'm retrieving the current position of that one prefab, that one pizza. So it's going pizza by pizza through all 50 pizzas. So it's retrieving the position of it. I'm changing the position. I'm adding 0.05 to it. But specifically, I'm multiplying that times direction. Remember, positive 1 means it's moving to the right. Negative 1 means it moves to the left. This right here is checking to see if if that particular pizza, that particular prefab, instance of the prefab has gone beyond the right side or left side. So I hard-coded in 12 and negative 12. If it has, then I set this flag equal to true. That means, okay, we're gonna need to go back the other direction. And then I reset the position of that particular pizza or prefab. Why don't you think I just didn't change the direction right here? I'm changing the direction down below here. I think what I'm doing, I'm taking each one of those little pizzas and I'm moving them to the right. So I'm moving these to the right. Now remember, I moved my finger. Like this. At the moment that any of the objects that are still alive reach that less than negative 12 or greater than positive 12, then I set that flag. Reason why is I didn't know if I could change direction right then and work correctly. I thought, well, I need to get everybody moved to the right. And then on the next round, I need to move them to the left. So down here then I say if go back is true, that means we want to go in reverse direction. I loop through all my prefabs again. I retrieve the position. I multiply, or y goes down because we're moving our characters down. Okay, I'm not changing the x at all there. I'm just moving them all down y position wise. And then here, I multiply my direction by -1. So when it comes up here, it won't be adding 0.05 anymore. It'll be subtracting. 0.05 times -1 is -0.05. And that goes back to reverse direction. And then down here, I put this collision in 2 different places. And one of them I don't think matters. But I put it there just to be on the safe side, because I was having a little trouble getting their work. Notice here, I again find all the current prefabs that are in existence, the instances that have the alien tag. Is it going to find all 50 again? No. Because when I run this, there's 50 there. There's 40 of them are left. There's 30 of them are left. And you notice over here, I don't have all 50 anymore, do I? So this won't necessarily loop through all 50 again. It'll loop through how many is alive. Now I'm checking if a collision, I'm checking if my Patrick's arm is colliding with that particular pizza. And if it is, I destroy that pizza. That good so far? And then I got Patrick's left arm here, just because I didn't have a picture of a ship, and I was trying to animate Patrick, I think, off of SpongeBob. Though I don't remember cutting his arm off. I think that was there was a sprite sheet creator I was going to show, and I never could get it quite to work right, the free one, and I don't want to pay money. And I was going to show you animating Patrick's arm. Okay, but anyway, I got this, and it's got a let me see, it's got a script with it. So I added a script I called Bullet. I'm not sure why. Has a box collider and it has rigid body 2D. Bullet in sense would be like your ship is down there, has fired a bullet. So you put this code behind your bullet. Now down up here, you see I got some of the same code. I declare my array of game objects. You see over here, it has my all GS again. Because when you make something public, it puts it over here. Then I got my start, there's nothing there, I got my update. This is just doing our standard, checking to see if you push right arrow, left arrow, up arrow, down arrow. If so, I'm moving it. And then the exact same code I put over in the other one for the collision is what I put here. Nothing's different. This is just a edit copy and edit paste of the other one. Like I say, after I got it working, I was so happy. I never went back to figure out which one of them I don't need. You can put it in both places, as far as I'm concerned. Questions on that? Yeah, I think you may have missed this part. Oh, did I lose it? Space Invaders. There it is. Oops. This is what we're programming in. So you'll need to change the pizzas to aliens. You could make them all the same figure, and I'm fine with that. Or you could do separate prefabs. Now you'd have to do your code a little bit. It's a little bit trickier. I would start off with making them all the same shape, the same image, and um, you should have a character down here that you move with, however, arrow keys or A and S or whatever. And when you push the fire button, it should fire one bullet. And that one bullet is what you'd check for collisions against these. Remember, the one bullet corresponds to Patrick's arm. But where in my case, I made it so Patrick's arm just moves around the screen freely, your bullet will just go straight up. So it'll go straight up like this. And after it hits the first one, then it should die itself. So you destroy that object, or even better, you reset it back to your ship, maybe, or under your ship or something. That makes sense what I'm looking for? Now, we'll be adding on as the classes periods go by. We'll be adding on a score up here. We'll be adding on that spaceship going across. Don't worry about the spaceship for now, because we haven't talked about how to do random numbers in game development. So we'll take a look at how to do random numbers. The aliens. Eventually, I wouldn't do it first, but the aliens should fire at you. So you should have that go down. Do you want my code to start with, or do you? Okay.